if you're not getting the results that you want, ultimately, that you need to evaluate the things that you're doing. And we don't do it as individuals. We do it in our professional lives. We're very analytical. We're very black and white. We're very results driven, results based. You just go put it in the model. You just go put it on the whiteboard. You just build out a spreadsheet. And then you analyze it with pretty unemotional ties. Is this working? Is what we are doing working right now? What are the returns of the investment of whatever it is we're doing? Can we get better ones? Can we improve it? Is there a better trade out there? And so there's a better trade likely for you. My name is Brian. I'm an executive coach that helps successful professionals get wealthy outside of the office in their mind, their body, and their relationships. I'm an expert at this because I did it myself. I sat in your seat inside of corporate America for 2 decades. If I can do it, so can you. Welcome to the Success of Podcast. This is Brian Pannuzzo. I appreciate you being here. I don't know if you noticed a very, very small change to the intro for all of my OGs who have been here for a while. My new assistant, shout out to Ella, who has been amazing. And I can't wait to continue to work with her. One of the first things she said to me in looking at some of my content and my LinkedIn profile and a few different things, she was like, Brian, why do you say that you're not special? Aren't you an authority? Aren't you an expert? Why are you telling people that you're not special? You should say that you're special. And so you're goddamn right. I should say I'm special. I am special. And so are you. And so I'm going to play around with some things, but words have power. And the more we speak them, even though I do it intentionally to get you to think that we are like each other because we are, I do it for a purpose of like, oh, if this guy can do it, so can I. That's absolutely true. But you know what? I'm pretty freaking special. And so I'm going to take that out for now. We'll see how it goes. You may notice a slight wardrobe change for me. Decided to put on a little bit less sleeves. Just shout out to my man, Jay Ferrugia and the Renegade crew. Jay was a big inspiration and continues to be in my life when it comes to transformation. I'm going to talk a little bit about some things today that are related to that. Also going to talk a little fitness today. And I just figured what better way to talk fitness than to absolutely show off the guns. If you are not on YouTube, if you are not watching the show on YouTube, you are missing out on the gun show right now. I would highly recommend and suggest that you start to pay attention there. I would love for you to go over and subscribe and check out the channel. So far, there's just been podcast recordings dropping on there. So it's the longer form video content of what a lot of people consume, from an audio perspective. I'm still an audio guy when it comes to podcasts. So I totally get it. If you stick to audio, you're in the car, you're on your commutes, and that's what, this is for. That's how I found podcasts, by the way. I stopped listening to Hot 97 on my commute in and out of Manhattan from New Jersey to Midtown Manhattan. And I started listening to podcasts. I stopped listening to talk radio and things like, I never really was a Howard Stern guy. He never really did it for me. I know like some people absolutely swear by him, but I stopped listening to things that, didn't necessarily serve a purpose for me in the moment. Now, don't get me wrong. There's tremendous purpose and usage to listening to a good song or to catching up on the day in sports. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to move your life forward, Automobile University, which is something that I talk about inside of my programs, it's one of the modules and lessons inside of programs, the hundreds and hundreds of video resources that we have inside of High Performance Health, which is my executive coaching and my company wellness program, and the Success Lift, which is my one-on-one coaching brand. We encourage you to use your time wisely. You are a busy corporate professional. You are likely a busy parent. You probably don't have that much time. And so you're probably listening to me doing something else right now. And that's the beauty of it. And oftentimes it lends itself to audio. And so I got some pretty nice guns right now. I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt. Shout out to the Renegade crew and my man, Jay Ferrugia, who has taught me a lot of things. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about this week. I recently have noticed more and more fitness trends. This started, let me take this, let me rewind the tape a little bit here. This topic for me came about for two reasons. Number one, I was recently on my good friend John Smallwood's podcast. It's called Money Isn't. And I would highly encourage you, especially if you're new to me and to this podcast, and you're like, who the hell is this dude in a cutoff shirt talking about financial stuff and busy professionals, and he looks like a meathead. And you are correct. I am a meathead, but I also know a little thing or two about finance stuff and corporate America because I lived it for a while. And so I was on my friend John's podcast recently. We actually taped it back in June. And it came out this week, or last week. It dropped last week. So go check out Money Isn't, the episode with me. I believe it's called From Wall Street to Wellness. John is a financial professional. He is from New Jersey. We had a great conversation. If you don't know a lot about me, this is going to be a really good one. And if you do know a lot about me, this is going to be a really good one. And one of the topics that came up in our conversation was about why don't people do what they know they're supposed to do? And I always, when I first started this journey, I would always say things like, we all know what to do, right? I knew I wasn't supposed to drink so much. I knew I wasn't supposed to gamble so much. I knew I wasn't supposed to do drugs to sedate my feelings and to, de-stress myself. I knew I was supposed to communicate with my wife more. I knew I was supposed to work out more and not eat like shit. Why didn't I do those things? And I think that that's true to a certain extent. And what I said to John, and what I now truly believe as I've been more and more educated, and I've worked with hundreds of people now over the last 5 years, is that I think we all know what not to do. And so all those things that I just listed off to you, those are pretty clear. Don't do those things, or don't do too much of those things. Because let's be honest, we're not like all born agains here. We're going to enjoy ourselves every once in a while, including myself. But those I would put in the category of we all know not to do those things all of the time. Those aren't going to produce great returns in the portfolio if we're drinking 4 to 5 days a week, if we're gambling all day Saturday and Sunday, if we're hitting the snooze button, if we're staying up too late, if we need a Xanax or a Percocet as soon as we walk in the door. All of these things don't result in great returns. And I just basically recapped my life, many days of the week for a decade. All right. And so if we know what not to do, that's clear. What I want to talk about this week, and what I want to just make sure everyone who listens to this knows. Now, my clients get this drilled down their throat. So they're like, Brian, they're probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about this again for? Because it's important. It's important that we say the same things over and over and over again and find new people to say them to, or say them to the same people, because it takes a long time for you to hear it and actually put it into play, because you are stuck doing the things that you believe work or that you're comfortable doing. And so I need to shake this shit out of you, and I need you to start doing it a different way, a way that actually produces the maximal amount of return for the minimal amount of input and effort. So this message is not to the person who is still sitting on their couch with Cheeto dust in their belly buttons. Okay. That guy, that girl, I guess, probably isn't listening to me too often. I am likely attracting people who are either highly motivated or on the path to being motivated to change their life. I don't really know what the hell you would listen to me otherwise for, because I feel like it's a pretty consistent message here. And so most likely you're either locked in, maybe you're working with me, or you're locked in because you pay attention to me. Either way, I love that. I love that. You may feel like you're locked in. You may believe that you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, and you may not be seeing all the results that you want, or the things that you are working towards in your head and doing are misaligned. And that's where I believe this conversation and a couple of quick ideas, me slapping you upside the head a little bit, will help hopefully have you rejigger, rethink, and reevaluate some of the things that you're doing. And a quick story that I witnessed last Sunday that was like, dude, I gotta talk about this more because this is crazy. And so on John's podcast, I tell my story. I talk about my transition out of Wall Street, out of my 20-year corporate career, why I am the most qualified person to talk to you. Okay. I believe that. I truly believe that with all my heart. I write it down every single morning. I am the most qualified person to help the person that I once was. I once was likely a version of you or someone you sit next to. I am the guy for corporate America. I believe it 1000%. And I will continue to push forward in that niche because corporate America needs more people like this. All right. And so if you are doing things, if you are going to the gym, if you are trying to eat better, if you are going to that boot camp class, if you're getting out and doing your cardio and you're jumping in your cold plunge and your sauna and you still take your shirt off and you're like, I don't know, I look okay. If you've been losing the same 10 or 15 pounds for the last several years, hopefully some of this info can help you a little bit. Now I'm actually talking about it. I was so passionate about the topic. I'm like, I'm going to go off the cuff with some stuff that you should be doing because it's ingrained at this point for me. But I put more thought into I need to speak about the why here, less about the how to. But I need you to understand if you're not getting the results that you want, ultimately, that you need to evaluate the things that you're doing. And we don't do it as individuals. We do it in our professional lives. We're very analytical. We're very black and white. We're very results driven, results based. You just go put it in the model. You just go put it on the whiteboard. You just build out a spreadsheet and then you analyze it with pretty unemotional ties. Is this working? Is what we are doing working right now? What are the returns of the investment of whatever it is we're doing? Can we get better ones? Can we improve it? Is there a better trade out there? And so there's a better trade likely for you. And so I talked about that on John's podcast. And then last Sunday, I woke up and I had planned to do some cardio for myself. I'm not a huge, those of you who know me, I'm not a big running guy. Don't love doing cardio for several reasons. Now, some of you actually apologize to me when you do cardio, which is great. I love it. I love that I've brainwashed you. Let me cover cardio really quick. Okay. Cardio is 100% amazing and necessary for your cardiovascular health. Please understand when I make little digs on cardio and running too much and going to Orange Theory and doing your Peloton and whatever it is. Number one, we all have biases. I am a meathead at heart. Okay. I am a former college basketball player. I should have went and played professionally in Europe, but I decided to start my Wall Street career instead. Basketball is not what you would think of traditional cardio game. Are the motors and the engines of guys who play a lot of basketball phenomenal? You fucking bet they are. But what I mean is basketball is sprint down the court, slide this way, stop, jump, backpedal, dive on the floor, sprint this way, get out in transition and run, quick timeout, foul shot, ball goes out of bounds. It's not get in one line and run down the middle of the road for the next 3 hours and rack up 15 miles. That to me makes me want to run from the middle of the road into the closest and deepest ditch that I can find and go headfirst into it. That's my feeling about that form of cardio. And so, yeah, of course I have my bias. So I'm always going to be influenced by my bias, just like you are. And so when I rag on it a little bit, number one, it's because I have a lot of great friends who are phenomenal athletes who run for days and days and days, and they look good. They look great, by the way. And they also are aligned with what they want in their life. And when they do these forms of exercise, they are rejuvenated and they feel great. And who the fuck am I to say that they shouldn't do that? Do I want them to be more jacked like me? Of course I do, but it's their life and they're doing what fits them. Who I'm speaking to is the person who takes the shirt off, who doesn't feel as confident as they want to, who puts the effort into their physical results and still doesn't see the returns that they would like to. That's who this message is for. And so when I rag on cardio, it's because you are not doing the right thing to get the result that you want the most right now. Remember, our life, we are like athletes. Our lives are seasonal. We are about to go into the fall season. We're about to see all things fucking pumpkin pop up. We're going to see pumpkin spice this and that. And then it's going to be holiday season. And so our lives are seasonal. And so if you think about like treating a period of 3 to 6 months like a season of your life, which is what we do with clients, we specifically take them into different seasons based on their goals. And so you might be in a fat loss season. You might be in a season of training for a particular race. I have clients who are training for marathons and half marathons and triathlons. And so those people get treated differently. You don't get a cookie cutter approach working with me because you can get those for $49 a month online. And how are those working out for you? And so you have to understand to match your turn-by-turn directions with the destination and ways. And most of you guys are putting a destination and ways, and then you're just going, fuck it, like we used to back in the day, and just go, I know where I'm going, babe. Don't worry about it. I got this figured out. And meanwhile, our wives are over there with the MapQuest directions. Remember MapQuest? We used to print shit out. And she's like, honey, I don't think you're going in the right direction. And you're like, fuck you. I'm going in the right direction. I know where I'm going. I'm a man. Don't tell me where I'm going. I know directions. And so what I want you to start to do is align the destination with the directions. And isn't that amazing? When you do that, you get to the place a whole lot quicker. You get much more efficient returns. And so that's why I rag a little bit on cardio. All right. Because most people do it to burn fat. Most people do it to burn calories. Most people do it to look better. And if you are doing it for those reasons, you are not correct. I said that the nicest way I could. All right. Now, I said that the nicest way I could because you probably have heard it from me before. Yeah, this is not the first time. If it is the first time, welcome to the show. All right. And so when I went to do my cardio on Sunday, I certainly was not getting out and running in a straight line for an hour and a half or Christ, even 20 minutes. To me, that sounds awful, awful. What I did was I decided to go to the beach. I am blessed to live 5 minutes from my feet in the sand at the beach in beautiful Southern California. I pay taxes in order to do that, and I deal with the politics in order to be able to do that. I live in a beautiful neighborhood. It feels like a suburb, kind of feels like Bergen County, kind of feels like Greenwich, kind of feels like some, beautiful Connecticut suburb, or I'm sure a lot of different suburbs across the country. Doesn't really feel like LA, but within 5 minutes, my feet are in the sand in Redondo Beach, Torrance Beach. And so it's a really amazing combination to be able to have an incredible community that we live in, to be able to be down at the beach, have that beach vibe. It's a beautiful combo. You also can be in a city, in anywhere in the LA area within an hour. Just think like if you live in Bergen County or, Chatham or Summit or something like that, or somewhere, not too far out east on Long Island, you're 15 to 20 miles away from Midtown Manhattan. Takes you 45 minutes. That's basically where I live. Just gave you verbal visual of where I live. And so I drove down to the beach, got myself a coffee, went down to the beach, and there is a spot that has a really big staircase and then a huge ramp going down. So right where we are at the beach, the street level is very elevated. So it's cool. Creates unbelievable views for anybody who pays attention to me on Instagram at Brian Pannuzzo, Pannuzzo. You may have seen me post a video sometimes of walking on the Esplanade in Redondo Beach. And it's just a sick view because you're way up high. So you can see the entire beach down below. There's a what we call like a strand. Think of like a paved boardwalk, although it's not a boardwalk. Can't get any Zeppelis or funnel cake, so it's not really a boardwalk. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Jersey Shore. And people ride bikes, they walk, and then the beach is there. And so it's a really cool scene. You have the huge stairs, you have the ramp, and people obviously exercise on that as well. And that's what I went to do. And so I just decided I was going to get 10,000 steps in, going up and down the stairs, jogging up the ramp, sprinting up the ramp, doing some defensive slides up the ramp, backwards walking up the ramp. I would go 2 steps at a time up the stairs. I would go 1 step up, choppy steps. I would like really push off, and I try to be a little bit bouncy, but a little bit of an athlete. I'm working on becoming a little bit better athlete again. And I basically just put in my earbuds and just decided I was going to go and listen to some podcasts, listen to some music, whatever, and just go. All right. I had a great time and it was awesome. And I saw this group of mostly women. It's like 1 or 2 dudes. And when I first got there, they were on the beach. They were in all black. And I was like, who the hell are these guys? Because you're far away. You couldn't really tell. And as I got closer and closer, I'm like, oh, it's mostly women. That's awesome. And then they all had pretty much the same t-shirts on. Some didn't have the t-shirts, so they just were dressed in black. But it was like this crew. And on the back, it said Warriors or something like that. And as I get like closer and closer to them, because they start to come to the stairs after they were done like doing like burpees in the fucking sand and like rolling around like a bunch of walruses and shit. By the way, very nice people. Start to talk to a bunch of them. So this is not a attack on their character. This is an attack on some presumptions I have around their fitness and what they do. And so they go to the stairs and then they start going up the stairs, and they weren't just walking up the stairs. They were doing this like karaoke step, that like karaoke step you would do, to warm up in football or like on the sideline in basketball. And they were like chopping up the stairs. Okay. Now, another important point, very important point. These people were, and again, I'm going to explain myself. These people were not in shape, like not even close. Most of them looked quite bad, actually. Now, before everyone gets their fucking panties in a bunch, I love that the fact that they're at the beach at 6 a.m. working on themselves. I love the fact that they are part of apparently some form of community and tribe with the camaraderie that it comes with. One of the reasons that I'm like wearing this t-shirt is because I'm so proud of being part of Jay Ferrugia's Brotherhood and Renegade team and community. And so it's like, I get the impact of that. I was a team sports guy my entire life. I sat on a trading desk. It's a team sport. That's the thing I miss the most about what I do for a living, which I might change a little bit, but more info on that to come. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. But I need more team in my life. I need a little bit more team in my life. And so I respect the hell out of all of the positive aspects of that. But when it comes to like, if you looked at all those people, just put them in a lineup and you're like, does this person actively work on their health and fitness? 70% of the time, I believe you would say no, based on their appearance. Okay. So either they were just starting and apparently they're there every single Sunday. So I'm going to make the assumption again, which could be incorrect, that most of them have been at this game for a while, which is why I'm delivering this message this week. And they're likely looking pretty similar. So they're choppy stepping up the stairs and then they get up to the top. I'm like, oh, maybe they were just like finished and they're done. They ain't done. They ain't done. They went back down the stairs. And then the next time down, they started to bear crawl up the stairs. Okay. They didn't just walk up the stairs. They didn't use the railing that was on each side. They got their damn hands down on the stairs and they were bear crawling up the stairs. Now at this point, I'm like, what the fuck are these people doing? Like, just walk. Just walk up the stairs. It's a great workout. It's a great workout. You were just rolling around in the sand like a beached whale, and now you're bear crawling up the stairs. And then I noticed there was one woman. They were mostly women, by the way, so I'm not like picking on the female. They were mostly women. It's just the leader of the pack wasn't even doing the workout with them. She was just down at the bottom of the stairs. And she wasn't like barking any orders or anything, but she was like, she was kind of encouraging, but they were speaking Spanish, so I couldn't tell exactly what they were saying. But she was like definitely instructing. And I look at her, I'm like, yo, she might be the most out of shape of this entire fucking out of shape crew. And they're following her and she's telling them what to do. And she's not even doing it. And so I'm like super confused and I'm getting a little frustrated because like, It's not that I need people to do things my way. I just want people to do things that get results. And I know enough now to know that they've been doing this for a while and they still look the same. I know that. I know that to be true. And so it was frustrating to watch because they stayed out there for a while. They were on the beach for a while. Then they went to the stairs for a while. Then they went to the ramp for a little bit and they were running up the ramp. All good. But they were doing things that just seemed to be like, what is the most ridiculous thing that we can do? Kind of like watching Instagram or a social media clip. And it's like, let me figure out the stupidest thing I can fucking put a video on and do that and get you to pay attention. It's like, let me think about the most sensational thing I can say, the dumbest thing I can do to get you to pay attention to me for a little while. That's the one thing about social media. And I'm not complaining about social media that I'm like, oh my God. It's like you have to like sort of keep up with that in order to get your attention, because your attention is so easily purchased somewhere else by someone who has a better hook, by someone who is willing to do something more sensational, say something that catches your attention more to keep your attention. Now, the masters at this get your attention and then deliver amazing information. And there are people out there that do that. Most of them, quite frankly, don't. They just get your attention and then your attention is gone. And all of a sudden you're in the black hole and you're like, where did that 7 minutes just go? And so the point of this entire conversation is that you don't know what you don't know when it comes to looking the way you want to look. And so this part of the conversation is going to be repetitive for some of you. All right. This message is specifically to people who want to change their body composition and look and feel, because confidence is a big part of this. Yes, you can feel great when you go for a run and focus on your cardiovascular fitness and eliminate fucking carbs or whatever, reduce inflammation, anti-inflammatory stuff. You can feel better doing that stuff, but nothing will feel better than you taking off your shirt, putting on your bikini, putting on that suit, putting on the pair of pants that hasn't fit you. Got a message from a client recently. He's like, I just put on a pair of pants, my favorite pair of pants I haven't been able to wear in a couple of years. That's fucking awesome, man. Imagine putting on clothes that you love, that you haven't been able to wear. Imagine getting out of the shower and toweling yourself off and taking a couple extra moments to just admire the hell out of the nakedness of your body, your beautiful ass body. That will give you confidence. That'll give you confidence like you've never had before. And you'll take that confidence and you'll take it to your next sales call, to your next meeting, to the next encounter inside of corporate America. So when you think, I don't need that, you do need it. You just don't know it yet. And I say this all the time. Why don't you just give it a shot? You can always go back to having the stomach roll over when you sit down in the morning meeting, but you won't. You won't. And so if that's the goal of yours, pay attention. If it's not, hang out if you want, move on to another podcast. I hear you. I got you. If you're okay with looking mediocre, okay with the elite areas of some parts of your life and the fucking mediocrity in others. And I say that because I still have areas of my life that are mediocre in results, not in effort, but in results, because results take time. Then here we are. All right. You must reduce the amount of this cardio that you're doing. Why? Well, because it's not producing the most efficient result for you. So what I ask clients to do is focus on the highest leverage activity you possibly can. And that is understanding and tracking and preparing and having a strategy for what you take and put in your damn mouth. You cannot outwork your shitty diet. You cannot go burn off those calories. Stop going and burning it off and getting a sweat in. Yeah, I know it feels better. It's doing fucking zero to your physical body composition. Just about zero. Stop sauna and cold plunging because you think it's burning fat. Zero. Sauna and cold plunge for the longevity, health benefits, for the way it makes you feel, for your mood afterwards. Do it for all of those things. For maybe some recovery, although are we really working out hard enough, most of us, to have to fucking cold plunge? By the way, if you weren't doing things, if you weren't bear crawling up the damn stairs overweight, you might not need the recovery protocol that you then spend an hour 4 days a week on. If you are not hopping from one exercise to another, doing 6 burpees, then jumping on to the lat pull down machine and humping it, and then going to the chest press and pushing it around, and then all of a sudden, boom, you tweak your shoulder, you tweak your elbow, your knee starts to bother you. If you just started to train properly with proper execution and safety and intensity and intent, you may not get that hurt. That's another thing that I learned from the Renegade Squad, is how to actually train properly. Everyone is doing it wrong for the most part. Stop running around treating your strength training session like a goddamn cardio session. It's not to burn calories. You're going to go in the kitchen and you're going to eat those calories back in a millisecond. I can snort 300 calories that I burn in a workout in seconds in the kitchen. Slow down, push your intensity in your set. Stop doing 3 sets of 10. You could probably do 14 with that weight. Here's how you want to feel, or here's how you will feel when you know you're doing it right. With about 3 or 4 reps to go, your brain will say, this is good, I'm done. And that's when you have to override the switch and go, I'm not done. I can do at least several more. So you know what? I'm just going to go do 1 more and see how it goes. And then after 1 more, you're like, well, fuck, I'm really done. And then you realize you can do another. And then you start to maybe question what the hell you're doing. And then you start to get a little bit of Tourette's and you start to blurt out maybe a curse word. And then at that last rep or 2, you realize that you might be doing this because some idiot on a podcast, let me change my language. That's not proper. Some expert on a podcast said, I need to train harder in my set. And that's when you start cursing at me. And now I got you. Now you're in the right place. And when that last rep goes up much slower than the first one, and when you need to sit your ass down and rest for a minute or 2 and not run over to do your jumping jacks or your ski erg or your rowing machine or whatever the hell you're going to do next to get your burn in, to get your sweat in, then you're going to start to see results and change your body composition and grow some more lean muscle. So remember, this message is to people who are not getting the changes in their body composition that they desire and are actually doing things. If you desire just to have a huge motor, which has some unbelievable longevity benefits, by the way, I need to up the amount of cardiovascular things I'm doing. If that's your goal, you're in the right spot doing what you're doing. If you take your shirt off and you're like, meh, you're not. You're just not. And I would encourage you to change the season that you're in for a period of time. You don't have to do this forever. You just have to de-emphasize some of this stuff for a period of time. And that's the season that I've been in over the last year. And that's why my bias is to speak about it, because I'm living it. But I also know that most people who come to me, one of their primary goals is to look and feel elite. And what they're doing is not getting them there. And I'm attracting way more people who are like almost there, who are like, something's missing. Or like, I talk to a ton of people now. They're like, my fitness is dialed in. Is it dialed in? Let's take a look at it. Usually when I do, It ain't dialed in for the goal that they ultimately want. So that's the thing. Are we taking the right turns on the road towards the destination that you want? You got Palos Verdes Estates, my hometown, well, not my hometown, my current hometown, in the GPS as the destination, and you're driving to fucking San Francisco. Probably don't want to drive to San Francisco these days, unless you're looking for some fentanyl. Shout out to everybody who listens to me in San Francisco. I don't know if I have a ton of listeners, but what a mess up there. So start to align your actions with the goal that you have. Make sure you are doing that. And if the goal is an elite body composition and improved confidence, you need to manipulate the things that you're putting in your mouth. How do you do that? You get educated. You start to understand what you're doing. You know what calories you should be consuming. You know the amount of protein that you should be consuming. To a lesser extent, but helpful, how many carbs and fats should you be consuming? How do you do all that? I might know a guy who prescribes that for his clients, who then looks at it on a weekly basis, who then makes custom tweaks for you. But information's out there for free. You can Google it and figure it out. Wing it. It's fine too. Got to put yourself into likely a calorie deficit. If you want to take fat off your body, stop going to the gym and trying to burn fat. We burn fat by manipulating our calories. We build strength in the gym. The gym is to build strength. I don't care if you're in a fat loss phase or a muscle building phase. It's to build strength. In a fat loss phase, we're probably just sending muscle preserving signals to the body. Don't lose the muscle, just lose the fat. So all of you out there putting those little needles in your stomach and seeing that scale go down, you're probably getting fatter. And I say fatter in air quotes because you're losing more muscle than you are fat. And so in a fat loss phase, we probably want to spare, hopefully, 75% or so of the muscle that we have. Like a 75-25 ratio would be like pretty good. Anything higher than that would be elite. Now, I'm not doing DEXA scan after DEXA scan of people who are on GLP-1 inhibitors, but that ratio ain't even close. It's probably inverted at best. And so your body fat percentage might actually be going up. Now, if you're obese, first of all, you do what you want to do. But if you need to lose weight rapidly, that's an option for you. But you are going to lose a significant amount of muscle mass. Understand that. So you should be sending muscle building signals to the body, which is what we do in a fat loss phase. We eat a lot of protein. We strength train. Are your strength training sessions going to be monumentally amazing and jacked and incredible? No, they're not. Probably not, especially the longer we're in a fat loss phase. It is an energy deficit. You're going to start to feel a little tired. You're going to feel hungry. But Brian, I feel hungry. I know, that's the point. You're in a calorie deficit. Now, for those of my people who are getting into muscle building phases, which I'm in, again, another mini one right now. Shout out to YouTube. I just keep flexing because I don't have any sleeves on. Eating more calories is sometimes just as hard as not eating enough. And I know most people are like, get the fuck out of here. Try it. Do it the right way. Try it. And let me know. Now, the amazing thing is that you can eat sourdough toast and peanut butter and ice cream. And if it's part of the plan, if you understand how it fits into your specific goals, you can do it. You can do it. So quickly review, because I'm pushing too much time here right now, but this is a good one, I hope. And let me know. Let me know what the feedback is. You must control the things that you put in your body. How do you do it? Google it or hire someone. You must have a more intense and intentful training program. You must lift weights. And I didn't even touch upon, but you already know you got to walk. You got to move. Moving via walking is going to be more efficient than you running around like a cardio bunny, because when you do that, you are going to stoke a hunger response that is going to make you want to eat more calories. And so, yes, your Peloton session burns more calories than the walk does in 30 minutes. But that's not the point, because you don't just walk for 30 minutes. You walk all day, moving around, doing different things. And so you are able to accumulate the same calorie burn without stoking the hunger response. Have you ever crushed a workout and then crushed a bunch of food, I guarantee you the calories you put back in were way more than the calories that you burned. You cannot control that on a long-term basis. Yes, of course, you can go hungry after a workout and put your ass in bed and not eat too much. I challenge you to do it over a long period of time. It's just not possible, which is why you keep crushing your workouts and you keep not losing weight. And so the best way to do this is to likely reduce your high intensity cardio, to reduce strategically your calories, to increase your low level intensity movement via walking 10,000, 15,000 steps a day. Fuck it. Do 20,000 steps if you want. More is better. Past 15 to 20, probably marginal returns diminishing after that. But take it from someone who walks almost 20,000 steps a day. It's better than 10. 20 is better than 10. 30, probably running out of time. Hopefully you're on the golf course. Lift more intently and intensely in your set. Push yourself to failure, close to failure. Do it responsibly, safely. Again, find an expert. Get somebody in person that you need help with. I review training videos, of my clients. Get an expert. Then review that weekly as part of an overall plan. Get somebody to hold you accountable, and you'll look exactly the way you want to look. I appreciate you guys. If this one hit home, let me know. I'll do more of these. I'm also going to start to bring back some guests to the show. Stay tuned for that. Can't wait to dig into the rest of the year with you. Can't wait to close out the year strong. We got some good stuff, cool stuff, some great announcements towards the end of the year too. Stay tuned. Talk to you soon. See you back here next week.